Welcome to Art Barn Online. Today we're going to build a curiosity box. You can find instructions at artbarnschool.org. From there you can find our supply lists and step-by-step instructions. Have fun!
Let's go through our supply list. One small tissue box. This is an Aldi tissue box, Willow brand. One pencil, one 12-inch ruler, tacky glue or a glue stick, moss. This is Spanish moss. Some cardstock. This is what I have on hand. Greeting cards will do. I also used rubber stamps, but you can use the supplies that you like. Markers, paint, brushes, decorating supplies of your choice. Okay, let's prepare the box. So remove the plastic insert from the opening of the Kleenex box and carefully open one side of the box. So your box will, you'll basically open up the side like this, like that. Mine was already done. Find and mark the center point of the larger flap. So this is the larger flap here. And so you'll mark the center point with your ruler. So it's easier to do this part when the box is actually flattened. So you may want to open up both sides of your box. So essentially what you need to do is find and mark the center point of this part of your box. So find your center point. So you've got 3 3/4, and we're going to mark the half at 1 7/8, and you're going to do that. Then you're going to draw a line from that center point to the edge where this meets, where this flap meets the box. And this is going to form the gable of your roof. And you're going to do that on both sides of the top. So you're going to do that on. Okay, so I've switched boxes again. And I'm going to cut off the excess. Pardon my really old dirty scissors. So after you get that cut, you can kind of see what your gable is going to look like. So the next thing we're going to do is create our roof. So that's going to be the piece that's going to go over the top. So in order to do that, we're going to measure this section here and adding a little bit extra, so we've got a little bit of an eave. And then we're going to measure this distance and this distance, and allowing a little extra so we have some eave. So we have some overhang on our roof, so it looks a little nicer. Okay, so the next thing is we need to put those measurements down on our roof section. So I've got this piece of paper of a delicious Asian dish, and I liked the pattern on this. I like that kind of thatching look of it. So essentially I've measured, this is my 8-inch section, and then this is going to be my 5-inch section, and I've already cut it, so voila! And this is going to be our roof section. And here's a little sneak peek. So next we're going to prepare the background, which is your panoramic section inside your box. So basically you're going to want to measure the this wall, your back wall, and your other side wall. So you want those 3 walls, and in my box it's 5 inches by 4 1/4 inches by 5 inches, and that equals 14 1/2. So you're going to add them up to get your dimension and then subtract a couple inches so that it will fit into the box in a rounded fashion like this. Mine's actually a little bit short because I cut it out of an 8.5 by 11 sheet. But if you want yours to go all the way to the back of your box, you're gonna, if you want it to fit tightly back against the back edge of your box, you'll want a little bit of a longer sheet. So anyway, you want that rounded look so that when you look inside, you'll have that nice rounded appearance. And I'll get a light in there for you, so I'll do another shot. So if you look inside the box, you can see the panorama makes it look more spacious. So it's time to do your panorama. I created this decorated scene. I just did this on a regular piece of cardstock, and I used this stamp. I'll give you a little close-up of it. And so this is what the background looked like before. And then I created this scene from it. And I'll focus that for you. So I did this with a combination of the stamp background. I used pen on both of these trees, and then I used stamps to create these tree trunks all along the bottom, and I did that in layers. And then I used paint. The material that I used for the stamps was also acrylic paint, and then because it dries fast. And then I used a acrylic paint to kind of just dab on these leaves. And so you can make this background as intricate as you like. This is where I landed, but you can go as far as you want with it. So once your panorama is finished and dry, you'll take your glue stick and turn it over, and then you'll apply a little bit of glue to this section and to this section. And then you will turn it over and place it into your box so that the glue it right there to the front edge of your box, like that, so that when you look inside your box, you'll be able to see your panorama. I know it's a little bit dark in there. So you're going to want to collect items to put inside your curiosity box. And since I created a wooded scene, I wanted to have some woodland animals for mine. So I created a couple deer, and I just picked this paper out of my stock, and I turned it over so I could draw my little creatures. So I'll put them back together so you can kind of see what I did. So I basically drew them on there, and I left some down here at the bottom so that I'll be able to tab that down when I glue them into the bottom of my box. So there's my critters. Cut them out carefully with my scissors. And then I have them, and then I'll basically be able to fold them over like this so that when I place them inside my box, I'll have my little figures, and I've got a nice little glue tab there. So I decided just now I was going to create some rabbits, so I decided I've been making these little quarantine bunnies during this time, and so I cut out a few little my rabbits to use in my box, and so I just whip them out and we'll put them in the box. So I have glued in a couple of my critters, and I used a different kind of glue. Changed my mind. I'm using Elmer's glue on the inside so I can glue my moss down in there. So I'm imagining this is going to be a little tricky, but I'm just gonna, it's not so much going to matter how it looks from the top, but how it looks from the front. So it doesn't have to be super duper heavy coverage, because you're going to be looking at it from an angle. So we're just gluing it down, pressing it so that it will, enough of it will stick to the wet glue. And I'm just trying to be careful not to smush my animals. So because my bunny people are a little bit smaller and more delicate, I decided that I'm going to glue them in now. I'm going to glue them in after the fact. So what I've done is I've taken my moss, I've got everybody glued in there. Everything's a little tacky still, but I've smashed the moss down pretty low in the front so that it's not obstructing the view. And then I've got it about medium in the middle. And I'm trying to make sure that it's not wrapping around anybody's head or blocking a view or anything. So I've kind of I'm sort of arranging it in there. And then I've got it a little bit higher and a little bit more fluffed up in the back so that it kind of blends in with the background. So there's an upward view there. Okay. All right. And there's a little peek. And I think we're ready for our roof. So we're going to take our roof section and we're going to prepare to glue it to our roof. Remember, we've got a little hangover here, so don't want to glue there. Don't glue all the way to the, don't put glue all the way to these edges either, because those are going to be overhanging. So you just place that on top of your box, looking to be sure that you've got a little bit of an overhang. I'm not measuring because I'm an eyeballer. Stick your finger on the inside of your box and press the tab from the inside. Oops, one side. Flip it over. And then press the tab on the other side. Scooge it down a little bit. And there we have it. We're done. And here's our finished curiosity box. Our deer and our wooded scene on the inside. And our little quarantine bunnies. There's the top. It's lunchtime. My stomach just growled. There it is. So, post a picture and tell us how you liked it.